Hello, my name is Cynthia Hilson, and we are Plants of the Bible. We're going to continue talking about one of our major plants, which is cinnamon, here today in my kitchen. Before we get started, I do want to say this. Anything that we would say today that would be health related, we do not want you to do home remedies without talking with your primary care physician first. That's important. They know your health history, they know your medications, they know your lifestyle, they just know you. So we can give you some ideas so you can begin to do your own research. And then actually, there's so much research out there now that I really encourage you to do that. Now, we're going to talk about in the very beginning here true cinnamon versus cinnamon that we're buying at the store, most places here in the United States. Now, you can go into any grocery store, Dollar Tree, wherever, and get a container of cinnamon like this for a buck or a buck and a half, something like that. Problem is, especially when you do begin to work with a lot of botanicals, that if it doesn't have a botanical name in it or country of origin, then you're really unsure of what the real product is. Most generally, in a package like this, bought at just a regular store that just says cinnamon, it is a cinnamon called cassia. It's a cousin to real cinnamon. And that's really kind of grown mostly in Indonesia and in China. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about capsulated cinnamon. I don't have any here, but we even realized at the CVS Pharmacy and Walgreens that people are getting on the bandwagon that cinnamon's good for you. But once again, it just says cinnamon. There's no botanical name, nor is there a country of origin. And if you choose to be able to start taking capsulated cinnamon, just be aware that one one of those capsules most normally is 500 milligrams. And as we go over a little bit of research, we'll find out that 1 to 6 milligrams is part of the studies that have been done and in recommendations. So that means you would take two of those 500 milligrams to equal 1 gram of cinnamon. Now, here's a real big precaution. Cinnamon can be what they call is hot. The spice is hot, it's warming, and and it's actually very good for digestion in any form. And cinnamon tea, like we'll go into in a few minutes, but you can overdo it. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, maybe even 5 months of trying a natural remedy where you will begin to see results. Now, I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit because I do want to show you what 1 gram of cinnamon looks like here on my scale. If you wait one moment here, we're going to do a little bit of adjustment. And so you can see where we're coming from and what we're doing. Make this adjustment here. That goes back here a little bit. I got a lot of stuff on this counter here today. Now, this is a combination of a Ceylon cinnamon and a Vietnamese cinnamon. A Vietnamese is actually one of my favorites to bake with and to use in cooking. Now, I wonder how we're going to work on this. It was good before. Okay. Now, approximately 1/4 teaspoon, which is this much, to 1/2 teaspoon is a recommendation for a daily allotment of cinnamon for those who are searching to do this for their health. So we're going to put that 1/2 teaspoon on this gram scale. And that is showing me that is right around 1.7. 1.7 grams. So this right here, that 1/2 teaspoon would be a recommendation for people who are looking to use cinnamon for their health. Now, you can use this a lot of different ways. You can just stir this into some water and you can add it to your smoothies. You can put it on your oatmeal, on your toast, etc. You can just sprinkle it on. Now, I wouldn't take it just powder by itself. And if you are going to make a tea with it, that's not my first choice for making a tea, but if this is all that you have. Now, I'm going to put that right back here. We're going to put this to the side. All right. We have a growing concern in this country, and it's called diabetes. There's a lot of information out there on the diabetes, and we do know that it is an epidemic. You're going to have to just kind of hang out with me, okay? We know it's an epidemic, and 1 out of 10 Americans are diabetic right now. Of those, 90 to 95% are type 2. They're not insulin dependent. And they can really begin to, let me trick the camera like this. They really can begin to regulate the possibility of not going on insulin by their diet, by water intake, by eating more vegetables and fruits. Now, those things all together are good for your everyday health, and even just walking 10 or 15 minutes a day. We've got to get back to doing that. You know, another contributing factor to many people becoming pre-diabetic even, and especially in our children, oh my goodness, it's because of the fast food and the sugary drinks and all those things. I don't have to preach to the choir. I know that you know this, but you know what? We're approaching 2020, and why not? Why not begin to take care of yourself like never before? I mean, I've got some things that I'm going to do. At 61 years old, I've got, I'm not on any medication, praise God. I am aging. I got all these wrinkles coming on and that kind of thing. But I've got some things that I've got to do to be able to maintain and even have even better health. And that's my prayer for you. Anyway, I want to go over a couple of things with you. Like I showed you, a half a teaspoon a day of cinnamon powder. Now, because the cinnamon powder that we buy at the store, again, like this, is not the true cinnamon. The true cinnamon does come from Ceylon. It is the one that is recommended for health, if you're trying to combat health. Now, you're going to find that especially grocery stores as well as online. Ceylon, Ceylon, that's also from Sri Lanka. That is a little island off of the south of India. I recommend it. Now, like I said, I love the Vietnamese cinnamon for when I am baking and making concoctions. Now, I'm going to put this down here a little bit again. We don't even have hot water going on, but we sure wish we did. Let me pull a couple things off here first. Okay, let's see. This is all training for me. Here I've got some chai tea. Now, this is a black tea with cinnamon. It has some fennel seed in it and some cardamom. This is actually a chai blend that was very popular in my tea and spice aromatherapy shop. To make a tea, you only need about, let's see, do I have another one of those little containers handy? I should have, right here. Okay. So to make a tea, you only need about this much. It's 3 of my little spoons, and I would say that's about a teaspoon. I have a teaspoon in here again. Yeah, that is just about right to make 1 cup of tea. Now, you can mix your own chai teas. It's not hard. I will tell you there's some ingredients a little bit more expensive, and also just learning the proportions of this, so you can buy a chai tea blend. Plus, you can get all kinds of herbal ones that use rooibos and such. One of my favorites. Now, this has a double digestion benefit to it. Actually, it has 3. It has the cinnamon, it has cardamom, and it has fennel seed. Those three things are great for digestion. Digestion is a problem and is associated with many, many diseases. Um, Everything from irritable bowel syndrome to reflux and really even inflammation. So making a digestive tea and drinking that after dinner. Now, at the Indian restaurants, you see just the fennel seeds by the door when you leave, and they're very good, and that does give you that kind of a licorice taste. So a chai tea. Now, we when we had our little store, we also did an herbal blend of just those spices with no black tea. Now, when I went to the tea show, I I got these right here. I'm going to move these out of the way because we're not quite ready for this. Okay, so this is a tea bag form from a company, and they are a company from India. And if we can see this, I can bring it a little closer to you. This is just cinnamon and black tea. Once again, it is good for digestion, and it's in a little nylon pouch. Now we can talk about that at a later time about tea bags and the best fiber that's being used for tea bags. Now another thing we have here to show you today. This is what we would use at the holiday time for making a spiced wine or a spiced wine or orange juice or apple cider. Now in here we have some cinnamon chips, which is like this right here. This is a cinnamon chip. It's a bark that's chipped up. And we have allspice, and we have orange peel in here. And this is basically what you use. Oh, and cloves. This is basically what you use to make your spiced cider. There's a clove right there. You can see the clove. This also is just delicious to make a tea any time of the year. Now, let's go back to these teas and let's talk a little bit more about that and what we have here. Any of these, as well as this one here, I want to bring and show you here, this cinnamon bark. I buy this in Israel. Any one of these in themselves can be added to boiling water. And in that, you can add a little bit of freshly grated ginger, a drop of honey, and this is great for cold and flu season, as well as sore throat. So you can make it out of the what we call mulling spice blend for wine and for apple juice. You can make it out of this bark that you really, sometimes you can find this in Chinese markets, and not overseas like I get it in Israel. You can use your chai tea blend, or you can use just cinnamon chips, or this black tea with just cinnamon. You can take a regular black tea bag and add a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and add your little bit of grated ginger. Now, grated ginger is really easy. We mostly have that. So anyway, cold and flu season, these items work. Now, we're gonna go ahead and shut this off because we need to go to the next step, and I want to keep these somewhat short for you.